The Ebola outbreak in Africa has left hundreds dead and many more infected. To halt even more infections, finding and treating all the patients is key. But just as important is finding and monitoring all the people who had close contact with those patients. These people, they may have slept in the same house. They may have come in contact with the patient's body fluids. And not all of a patient's close contacts are going to get sick, but those that do can then expose even more people to Ebola.
The highly contagious Ebola virus is sweeping West Africa, and it just seems to be getting worse. According to the World Health Organization, there are over 1,300 confirmed suspected cases of Ebola in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Now, those numbers are expected to climb, along with a rising death toll. To date, there are over 700 confirmed deaths. One American, Patrick Sawyer, has died, and 2 other American aid workers are diagnosed with Ebola. Despite some concern here in the U.S., the Center for Disease Control is now planning to bring those 2 to Atlanta for treatment. This will be the first time the CDC will treat Ebola here in the U.S.
And David, I know you've had a chance to travel through the country into the center to see a country completely and utterly shut down in fear, as you reported last night. You visited a hospital today, and what did you see there?
Well, Aaron, what we saw was something extraordinary. These doctors on the front lines of the battle against Ebola in the very epicenter of this outbreak, taking incredible care to combat an unprecedented outbreak. Gloves. Ebola can lead to death with just 1 drop of infected fluids.
So that's why we take every possible precaution to prevent that.
Already dozens of doctors and nurses have died in this outbreak. Still, Dr. Stefan Kruger says he had to come.
I really just think this is where the need is. And there's a really big lack of resources. And at the moment, the truth is in Kowloon, if MSF wasn't here, there'd be nothing. For me, that's a good enough reason.
But at Kowloon, they are losing the battle. Ebola has hit 4 countries. The number of infections continue to rise. This outbreak is out of control.
Rare tornado touching down near Boston. You see the aftermath there in the suburb of Revere this morning. Ginger tracking it all. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, yes, from the northeast back to the west, across the nation. We've got these dots again, but it was so busy in New England, and yes, right outside Boston, all the way up into Maine. But it was the pictures even very, very near us here in Colorado, just outside Denver, that we're really looking at this morning. Check it out.
That's heading this way, isn't it?
Slicing across Colorado, swirling with dirt. 3 reported tornadoes just outside Denver.
A tornado was sighted at the airport. Take shelter immediately.
People inside Denver's airport running for cover. Winds shearing off this shop door, rocketing it like shrapnel into a dumpster.
We ran into the shop office there and hid in the kitchen.
In Nevada, water became the enemy. Flash flooding dropping more than 2 inches per hour in spots, filling the streets with debris and black mud from a burn scar.
By the time I reached on top of the hill, that water come off that hill so fast it's carrying boulders.
And just outside Boston, Massachusetts, a powerful EF2 tornado, winds up to 120 miles per hour.
Oh my God, look at those trees.
This, the view outside Revere High School.
They all broke! Look at the trees, they all broke!
We continue to monitor the weather. 2 tropical systems churning in both the Atlantic and Pacific. 2 systems are now making their way toward Hawaii. Hurricane Iselle, which is expected to weaken before hitting Hawaii as a tropical storm. Tropical storm Julio right behind it, being called a double whammy for Hawaii, which has been hit by just 8 named storms since the 1950s. In the Atlantic, Bertha has now weakened to a tropical storm, as you see there, moving on up the East Coast. Not expected to be a threat to land, but it will make for rough surf and dangerous rip currents, just at a time when millions are vacationing at beaches all along the East Coast.